Hey, it's Nix, and wouldn't you know it, the new DDD cards? The Magneto Pro. So I had some time, I played around with them for a few hours, and I came up with some, what I think is pretty interesting stuff. So uh, I made a couple of replays. These are just solo mode replays. The first of them is a one card gate combo. Notably, because of the way this branches into Kepler here, you could also just start this combo with Kepler. But what you're going to do is you're going to search Kepler with Dark Contract with the Gate, and then you're going to search the new contract Forbidden Door in order to banish Dog from deck and summon Cortez. Cortez is going to bin a Griffin here, and then you can link those two off into Gilgamesh, triggering Gilgamesh in order to set Jackal from deck as well as Ragnarok. From this position, we have to make Machinex in order to trigger this Ragnarok to target the Griffin, and it's very important to make sure that your Jackal is chainlink 2 here. That way, it comes out before the Griffin does. Machinex itself is a pendulum monster, so you only want 2 to be on field when or after the Jackal gets summoned, so that it becomes a 6 instead of a 7. So afterwards, we're going to use Griffin here, and something I've figured out is that extending with Samsara is better than searching Headhunt, or at least that's my understanding of how this is going to play out from here on out. Um, you'll see why shortly. So now we have this level 6 tuner and this level 4 non-tuner. We're going to make Hiking Alexander, triggering the Jackal in order to search another contract, Swamp King. We're going to use the Samsara here on the Machinex, and this is why I'm still on 2 Machinex. I'll show you the list after I show you the replays. We're just going to go through some revivals. We're going to make High King Caesar. We don't have to go through another Genghis because we made this. We cheated this out with the Forbidden Door. Very, very broken card. Afterwards, we can link into Suleiman, triggering its effect in order to set another scale. Now from this position, we have not yet performed a Pendulum Summon. So we can Pendulum Summon out the Jackal and the Griffin, and Jackal is now a level 4. It's its base level because it isn't coming out via its Pendulum effect. Now we can use the Swamp King that we searched off of the Jackal's effect in order to make a High King Genghis. We can then synchro summon with these materials into Siegfried, triggering the High King Genghis to bring back the level 8 Samsara, overlaying for Achilles, and slapping Machinex down on top of the Suleiman. And now we've ended with a Machinex that has up to 6 activations of its effect. A Siegfried, a High King Caesar, which is 2 Solemn Warnings, and an Achilles, which is 2 negations of things in the graveyard are banished. So this is 2 plus 2 plus, I'm going to go high roll here, 6 plus 1. So this is technically 11 disruptions just off of Dark Contract with the Gate. And you can do the same thing, I'm pretty sure, off of Kepler. The only difference is that this will not be here because we use this search Kepler in this combo. So if we start with the Kepler, we're searching this. So you'll have 2 fewer disruptions at the Machinex. But I mean, this is absurd, right? Like this is already pretty insane. Moving on, I did a couple of test hands. I only saved 2 of these replays here. But we're gonna look at this hand, which looks kind of janky, but Forbidden Door is a 1-card combo. It's gonna fix everything. As you can see, Talonseer is in the main because we have room for it now. So we're gonna go through this play here. Going into Cortez sending Griffin, and then using the Samsara that we hard drew in order to fuse away the Cortez for a High King Genghis, then using the effect of Samsara, it actually does come up, go figure, in order to trigger the Genghis in order to bring back the Griffin. And from this position, Griffin can search as a Kepler, which is actually a lot better now than it used to be post, Griffin resolving. So from this position, we can grab Dark Contract with the Gate, use that to grab a Copernicus or something. This Gilgamesh is insulated from Imperm because we have a High King Genghis on the field, something I completely just didn't even think about when I was reading this card, Samsara. But we're going to set Jackal and Ragnarok. And from this position, we can Pendulum Summon the Griffin from the extra deck, trigger the Genghis to send Necroslime, we get to draw a card. We can go into Caesar here. It's, not something that we're going to be doing every game anymore, but it's still really good. Trigger a few things, including this Suleiman in order to scale a Copernicus. This is basically just to have it. I don't think we're going to do anything with this later in the combo. Necro Slime in order to get another Genghis. Going to overlay into Achilles, trigger the Genghis, Synchro Summon, search a contract. We're just continuously extending here, making another Machinex, setting the Dark Contract with the Haunted, and passing on up to 6 Machinex disruptions, plus Achilles, plus Caesar, plus we get to keep Suleiman on field to just be a big ass guy. And this Dark Contract with the Haunted can summon out an Attila to, bottom deck a contract, spin a guy. It's solo mode, so it just spun itself. But that would be an opponent's monster in a real game. Here's another test hand. This one, you'll get to see pretty much a full power board. It's going to start off the same, though. You'll notice this card, when you draw it, just kind of does everything. So this time we're actually going to bin a gate and then recur that gate with the effect of the Cortez. We're going to special summon the Griffin, triggering the Hiking Alexander, summoning back the Cortez, linking off into Gilgamesh to set Griffin plus Ragnarok, Pendulum summoning these two. I'm actually only on one Jackal. I forgot to mention this at the start of the combo. And we hard drew it, which is normally not where you want to be from my experience testing this. But it worked out because we also drew this, which gave us immediate access to a level 6, 6 plus the level 4 tuner, which we can just normal summon, gets us into, an extender and an extender in the form of the contract that is searched by the Jackal effect. So it all works out in the end. So post Pendulum Summon, we're going to Synchro Summon this Siegfried. We're going to Griffin to pop itself, which is why we set Griffin specifically earlier. We're going to trigger the effect of the Suleiman to set the Samsara. And Samsara is going to pop this contract that we no longer need, hilariously triggering the Suleiman. And then from that position, we can Samsara effect, since we pseudo searched it out. Just trigger our guys, summon our guys, revive our guys, and that's 2 6s, that's 2 8s. And we can slap Machinex down, slap down this Imperm that we hard drew, and have this Dark Contract with the Haunted. Now notably, this board here is insulated from Dark Ruler no more because we have a chainable continuous trap, can just activate this at any time, and chain Siegfried to it to protect the rest of these disruptions from getting negated by Dark Ruler no more. Additionally, after we do that, we get to use this Dark Contract with the Haunted to bring out Attila, and bringing it out into the EMZ gives us this open zone to trigger Ragnarok and summon Griffin for another search to search additional follow-up plays for the next turn. So I mean, this is this is where you want to be, right? Like, I could not dream of putting up a board this powerful with current TCGDD. I still need to test this against Tearlament, against the meta, but Bestials running around probably will still give us a lot of trouble, but we're definitely a lot more competitive now than I think we've ever been. So yeah, I can show you the list here. This is maybe a little controversial. I had to throw the dog in here, but you'll notice a few former key players missing, like Thomas, Lamia. Thomas actually did come up in some circumstances. It makes summoning Siegfried on your turn, not via the effect of Dark Contract with the Haunted, more consistent because you can add back a Jackal and then summon it and it would be level 4. But for that play, you kind of also need to play these two. You need to play the Thomas to bin a Swirl Slime to summon the Jackal that you add back from your hand. And realistically, that's all these cards were accomplishing. I think in terms of what Swirl Slime does now in the TCG, notably I've cut Baron de Fleur, as you can see. Samsara just fills a better niche better than Swirl Slime filled its own niche in the TCG. Current TCG. Um, but yeah, you just don't need it, and I thought, why not just test out cutting down as many in archetype cards as possible, condensing our engine as much as possible in order to fit in these these board breakers and these hand traps and other blowout cards, tech cards like triple tech. Um, yeah, I mean, another reason to cut Tell, the only card you really want to be sending to the graveyard is like Griffin or Necroslime, which means all you need to do is resolve Copernicus once. Um, Griffin, we have an extra way of getting Griffin either into our scale or into the graveyard with this. Um, it's just Tell is really not needed. You're never gonna have to like loop it to send Necro, to send Griffin, to send um, Vice Typhon. Like, I just don't think you need to do that anymore. Uh, so I cut it to make room for extra stuff. One thing I thought I was gonna be able to do was cut the second Genghis, um, but there were too many test hands where it came up where it was like, um, I can't realistically make Cortez on my own. Like, I didn't have access to Forbidden Door, so I couldn't make it via its own materials because it's built to be used with Super Poly instead of actually, in your archetype. You can do it theoretically, but it's just not consistent enough. Um, there were times where it's like, okay, I need to be playing the second Genghis because it's not acceptable for me to have a hand that looks good and then I don't in on Hiking Caesar. Um, this card, I think, because of it being able to summon out an Attila and also simultaneously offer the utility of being paired with Siegfried to negate Dark Ruler no more, um, I prioritized that over DDD Headhunt. I could just put it back in and play 41 cards. I could find another card to cut for it. Um, but the only way you're searching it is with Griffin, and I think it's um, better in most scenarios to use that Griffin search on something like a Samsara in order to extend and get into an Achilles, because that's the main way you're going to interact with a deck like Tearlament right now. Um, so yeah, Headhunt is still a ridiculous card, but um, maybe just not worth it. Uh, you could play around with the extra deck some more. Maybe cut a card like Attila. Um, keep playing Zeus or keep playing Baron. I think Hiking Alexander is mandatory because of it just makes Jackal the best card in the deck. Um, yeah, and as for these other cards on the side, these are just alternatives you could play, alternative traps to Haunted. Like if you decide not to play Attila, you could easily play Eternal Darkness to auto win the Fluandarees matchup and slightly hinder Tearlament and you know just be a nuisance in like rogue matchups and stuff. Or you could put in errors to give you double protection against stuff like evenly matched or imperms that they don't chain for some reason or didn't shotgun. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to get that quick little replay video out there to show everyone what these new cards can do. I think there is a lot of potential here. I don't think that I have solved the build. I think there's a lot that could still be done, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the next 5 months or so of people testing this stuff out. So, um, once again, if you enjoy pretending to hang out with me through a screen, feel free to subscribe. If not, no big deal. I'm signing out.